Hiya! Info Ninja. Welcome back to the dojo, everybody. Hope you're doing fantastic. Hope you missed me as much as I missed you. And if you are missing me, you can always go check out past episodes. You can check out some posts that I'm throwing up on X. That is right. You can check out full episodes being posted there. The best of what we do. You can find it all there. You can find all of our friends there. Give us a follow. We are at Info Ninja Show on X. You can find us on ScrewTube the same way. YouTube is at Info Ninja Show. We are, of course, on Rumble. You can get us on True Social and anywhere podcasts are sold.
The reason the rich don't pay taxes is because there's three types of income. They'll never teach you this in school. Number one type of income is earned income. These are the guys that pay tax. So when all the guys are screaming tax the rich, well, you can't tax them because they don't have jobs.
So I think I have done some dangerous episodes for you folks. I've put it all out there, okay? For this country, for you, the listeners, I've never tried to hold back. And I've done some things that I was worried. If Joe Biden got reelected, my family and myself might be in danger right now. This dojo might be under attack. But alas, God came through and we got Donald Trump. So nothing to worry about right now, but I was a little worried. I was the first one to break the Tucker Carlson Hunter Biden connection. It turned out they were neighbors, and that's why there was a connection there. But he didn't disclose that publicly. So I was the first to break that, and I was worried for a little bit that I might get a knock on the door for that. Certainly during COVID, I was dropping truth bombs left and right, wasn't holding back. And again, if Joe Biden wouldn't have lost this election, I might have got a little visit from Dr. Fauci's friends, the kind that put you in the coats and give you the shot and you never come back. I know I'm being crazy, I'm being a little facetious now, but I have put it all out there, folks, and I think this episode right now, this one you're about to listen to, might be the most courageous one I've done yet. Because really, when it comes down to it, the most money is on the line if people start to understand that this is the truth. I want you to do research. Don't take my word for it about anything I'm about to tell you, but I guarantee you if you go research it, you will find out that what I'm telling you is factual. There's a lot of cash on the line here, and when there's cash on the line, there's power on the line, and yeah, I'm putting my neck out for you once again, so hi-yow! You're welcome.
Do you ever just get down on your knees and thank God that you know me and have access to my dementia?
Let's talk about taxes. If you haven't filed your taxes yet this year, you should definitely still do it. I want to put that out there right now. I am no way in any shape or form encouraging you to break the law or whatever the law is related to taxes or whatever, tax code. I don't want you to do one thing or another. I'm not encouraging or discouraging. I am just providing you information right now. This is for entertainment purposes only. You might think I'm crazy, you might think I'm paranoid, but these people will kill to stay in power. They will kill to keep our cash. That's how sad it is. That's how much they value life. So,
not cool.
Rich people do not pay taxes. We've been hearing this forever, and I love it. I want them to teach me, please. If I can give the government less money and keep more of my money and pay less interest and keep more of my money, I want to do that, okay? I want to learn how rich people use debt to get richer. It's a game that they play, and I want to do that. I want to be rich like they are. So I'm not knocking on them for paying no taxes, but rich people don't pay a lot of taxes. But imagine the ultimate scheme from the level of the rich. What if you become the tax collector? What if you are ultimately in charge of all the taxes are coming to you? You're not really paying any taxes at that point because you are the tax. That would ultimately be the worst case scenario. And ultimately, that's kind of what we're looking at. So hear me out on this. Okay. Biden hired 85,000 new IRS agents. Do you remember that story? And they were being programmed to carry guns and to hunt you down. They were coming after all your money, all the things you didn't pay, you tried to hide. They were going to rape the American public of all the money possible because of who was leading Biden, who was behind the puppet president, okay? The marionette president was not in charge of his own faculties, much less the country. Thank God we got Donald Trump. God has really been moving for this country. If you don't see it and you don't feel it now, maybe you're giving all the credit to Donald Trump, folks, but he is being blessed right now. It is our prayers that are being answered. God works through people. So don't give glory to Trump. Yeah, give him a high five. You're doing a great job. Encourage him, but give glory to God because God is doing something right now. And I think the next big thing that God may do here is work through Donald Trump to eliminate the income tax.
You serious?
Yeah. And the people that get the income tax, the groups, the upper echelon, the banksters, as we're going to talk about in a minute, who benefit from the income tax, for them, those are killing words. Those are things that they will fight and kill to stop having happened because they fought and killed to get the income tax implemented in the first place.
Kiss my ass!
But currently, there is a real chance that Donald Trump may be trying, at least, to eliminate the income tax and replace it with tariffs. Not just bring in tariffs, that will be the beginning of this. I see this thing as a third year thing for Donald Trump. He won't get it the first year. We'll get the tariffs going. The second year will show us that the tariffs can do what they're designed to do. And then the third year, we eliminate the income tax and we go 100% off of tariffs. That's what I'm predicting right now, but listen to what he has to say.
You know, the United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of the United States. The income tax came in 1913. As I said in my speech last week, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens.
Did you hear that? Did you hear the dates too? 1913, 1912 that he was talking about. But did you hear that that was the richest we ever were? Why we were doing just tariffs. The richest our country and our people ever were. The tariff money was coming in and we had so much, we had to establish a commission on what to do with all the wealth in this country. Let's give it to the people. Let's help our own people. Let's have our country pay us. And I'm not saying universal basic income, but I'm saying let's have the cost of living be so low here because of all the low taxes or the no taxes we have and the low cost of energy and oil. Let's do this, baby. Let's do the 80s again.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this all sounds fantastic, but you have to understand the history behind this and the banksters. Who are the banksters? This is your Rothschild families. This is your Morgan family, your Chase, your Stanley family. I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist now, but the people that still own all the banks now and control the Federal Reserve essentially created the Federal Reserve. But let's look at the timeline, if we will. So again, like Donald Trump talked about, we weren't paying federal income tax until February of 1913 when the 16th Amendment allowed for the government to tax individuals' income and to tax business income, corporate income. And that's kind of sketchy as well, if the way you read the 16th Amendment, and there's some argument about that. And we're going to talk about that constitutional argument a little bit later on. But that was February of 1913. Now, fast forward a little bit, and you're going to get a little bit later in the year, 1913 still, December, we passed the Federal Reserve Act, this bankster scheme. It's gangster bankers. Banksters, that's an Alex Jones term. The banksters can implement this scheme to get uncontrollable flows of wealth, just like a faucet, all the time, flowing right to them. So first they needed to get a money source that's tax the American people. So they worked with politicians, and there's lots of stories about that and how they tried to literally assassinate President Jackson because he was trying to stop the Federal Reserves. His last dying words were, "I killed the bank." 1913 was the year, folks. We had to start paying federal income tax, and that money went to the U.S. government. And what did they use that money to do? They used it to pay for debt from the Federal Reserve, because now our money was being printed and issued to us in the form of Federal Reserve notes. The problem with that is that every time they print a new dollar for us in the Federal Reserve, there's automatic interest attached to that dollar. every dollar has interest attached to it. The problem is if we want to pay off that interest, we have to get more money from the Federal Reserve, and there's more interest attached to that. It's called the debt cycle, the Federal Reserve debt cycle. It's perpetual slavery for our country. It's why Andrew Jackson didn't want it. It's why JFK tried to get rid of it. The Federal Reserve is the biggest heist on the American people in combination with the income tax in world history. In the history of our country, but in the world, there has never been a bigger theft of wealth from a people than the Federal Reserve Act in 1913, and then earlier in the year, 1913, the 16th Amendment, which allowed them to take federal income tax from us. This is all reality, folks. It's not a conspiracy theorist. It's crazy. And Donald Trump, and I didn't think this would ever happen, not in my lifetime at least. Ron Paul kind of woke me up to this many, many years ago, over a decade ago, about income tax and the Federal Reserve. There is also the argument that the income tax is not constitutional. And this is kind of a conspiracy theory, and you decide.
Speaking of the IRS, I saw a video from the early 2000s. Past employed workers for the IRS figured out federal income tax is non-constitutional. Someone said, if you can find the law that says you have to pay, we'll give you $50,000. And that's how the one IRS agent found it. She's like, okay, yeah, I work for the IRS. I'm going to find it and make $50,000. And she's like, there's no law.
We have to pay federal tax.
She even said upwards of 60 million people in the U.S. were not paying federal income taxes. And then one guy, he's like, yeah, I'm not paying taxes. He was brought to court and they're like, wait a second, we don't have a law. And so they couldn't charge him with anything. But then there's some conspiracy with the Titanic. There's someone on the Titanic that was a politician opposed to collecting taxes for the Federal Reserve. And the Rothschild and Rockefeller, they were supposed to be on the Titanic. They decided not to get on last minute. And then these guys that were opposed to the Federal Reserve died in the Titanic. A year later, federal income tax. Our founding fathers were very opposed to taxes.
No taxation without representation.
They represent that you need to pay me taxes.
I didn't think this would ever happen, and now it looks like it could be happening. I'm predicting third year of the Trump presidency, the federal income tax may go away, baby. Wow. That would just be incredible. That is a movement of God's hand. That is him getting rid of all the weeds, folks. That is him pushing things into the light. I love it. Amen. Let's keep praying for this country. Keep praying for our president. Hi-yow. Info Ninja.